in Italy, there is a national committee, and Wania is the co-chair of the committee. So could you please explain, Wania, exactly how this national committee works and what its role is within the program?
Thank you, Vittoria. Good morning, everybody. So, the first question is why Italy has a national committee, which is not a body foreseen by the European regulations. If you keep into consideration our constitution that foresees national government, the central government, and regions which are on the same level, and then we know that we have to cooperate under the principle of fair cooperation, and that this program, even though it's a CBC program, has a lot of Italian regions, 7 regions, then we understand that we need to have a body where Italian positions are discussed in order to bring them to the monitoring committee to be discussed with our Croatian colleagues. We have a lot of points in agenda. Now we will discuss about the selection criteria, how many calls, what the thematic objectives have to be financed, the result indicators, and so on. And as you can understand, it's not possible for 7 regions, the central government in its 2 parts, the Department of Cohesion Policy and the agency, to sit all together in the monitoring committee. So in Italy, we have this body where regions, as I said, and central government work together. What about the partnership principle? Exactly as at the monitoring committee, we have representatives with advisory roles that comes from the business world or from the equal opportunities or NGOs. The same composition is reflected in the monitoring committee. Why? As Victoria said, partnership principles is really important in this programming phase. We have Article 5 of Regulation 1303 that gives the code of conduct, and then we have the Delegated Act 240 that underlines the importance of the territories to participate not only in the programming phase, which ended with the, well, actually not ended because we still continue programming with the calls, but we have the CP. They participated in the setting up of the program and now participates to the implementation of the program itself. So, going back, we have a monitoring, we have a national committee because Italy has regions, central government, and then we have to have a body where to discuss the positions to be brought to the monitoring committee. And stakeholders take part in this national committee with advisory role. This under the governance point of view. Then we can ask ourselves how regions or this national committee supports potential beneficiaries. Each region has its own office or department that has in charge ETC programs. So if beneficiaries have to ask questions, information, clarification, or just to be supported in writing projects, not only writing, as also Daniela said, this programming period is focused on results achievement. So it's also important to understand if a project is not only well written, but if it meets its match with the program requirements. Then, as I said, each region has its own office and department. And how does it work? It works like a body. So we have our regulation. We decide this regulation, the general one, it's under discussion. I think that Mr. Galletta yesterday talked about this. And then each national committee will approve its own regulation. But what we have to keep into consideration that we try to decide by consensus. So, all we have to agree on the points that then will be discussed in the monitoring committee. If this would not be possible, then there is the majority rule, because we cannot stop the decision process. The most that we would be very glad if everybody agree on the same point, but we know that not always it's possible. So, if we think about stakeholders then, and what the National Committee can do for them, as I said, it's a support not only by the JS, but also by the regions. And if I have to think about this new programming period and about this new program, what I would say is that for the stakeholders, there is a really big challenge, because even though Croatia and Italy cooperated in other programs, in the IPA, now in the Adrian, still the area, it's a cross-border area. And if we think of the lead partner principle, so we need one Croatian at least and one Italian at least, and then we have in Italy 88% of the population, then I think that this is really a big challenge to try to build new cooperation between beneficiaries of the two areas, or to strengthen the one that already exists. And I would think that this, compared to other CBC programs that I am aware about, Italy-Austria and Italy-Slovenia, I suppose this is the main challenge.
Thank you, Van.